What did you have for lunch today? Did you like it? Unless you made it yourself, Mrs. is about to make you a little uncomfortable about your comfort food. My social media has been flooding with posts about Mrs. And I was like, why the buzz? Because the movie came out, I think, over a year back. So it released on OTT this month, and OTT did its thing, made good content available, accessible to more people. A remake of the Malayalam The Great Indian Kitchen, Mrs. can be seen as a social commentary, one that focuses on how a woman's identity and responsibilities change with passive coercion after marriage. The movie has Sanya Malhotra as lead, Richa.
D4 E5 F6.
लो जी लग गया कनेक्शन
The movie starts with a very lively dance performance by Richa and her troupe, but is interestingly broken up by shots of food being prepared. I don't even know the names of those dishes, but God knows it made me open Swiggy. At first, I thought it is a forced bit just to showcase Sania's dancing skills. I mean, I've had enough of it already with that one Sunidhi Chauhan song trending everywhere. Fortunately, that was not the case, and the entire dance performance was very fundamental to the plot. Note her eyes, her face, her body language. She is the definition of being alive. She is a fulfilled person with a sense of purpose and a burning passion, all of which will eventually become a fading memory as the narrative progresses. Richa is a trained dancer. She has been dancing since childhood and she's been teaching dance since 4 years. But now she's going to get married into a patriarchal family, and that family has quite a few outdated and very stringent ideas about what a woman's role is in the house. Things that don't count in the calculation: her intellect, her talents, her comfort, or any of her opinions. In an ironical twist, her husband, Divakar, is a gynecologist, an expert on female anatomy who clearly doesn't know what to do with the female anatomy ideally in a bedroom. A very slam bam, thank you ma'am approach to intimacy is shown between them. He carries forward a tradition he's learned from his parents and recreates their domestic landscape within his own marriage. Richa is expected to cook, clean, lay out his clothes before he goes to work, basically be his man Friday. A servant without pay, and even worse, without any appreciation. And the saddest part is he does not behave this way because he's a vile, evil, misogynist person. It's because that is his culture. He is a product of his society, and to him, this is what normal looks like. Let's take a look at the people who raised this Namuna. His father is a tough nut, very difficult to impress.
कैसा बना?
नमक कम है
Played by Kawaljeet Singh, Divakar's father looks like he's retired. He eats chutney only if it is made on a seal batta and not in a food processor.
तुम्हारे पापा जी को चटनी भी सिलबट्टे की चाहिए
And he gets frequent malish done even though he does zero physical labor around the house. He thinks his wife is his AI assistant who should help him with everything, starting from helping him to pass bowels in the morning with ajwain water, to handing him his toothbrush, to placing his shoes right where it will be easy for him to slip into them without having to look for them, leave alone the Herculean task of taking them out of a dusty cabinet. He never likes the food Richa makes, so you can imagine his reaction when she said she wants a job. Now you will think, he is the man responsible for bringing up this brat. Like father, like son. But hold on, his mother is just as much to blame. In the movie, his mother is symbolic of Richa's future. She is a lifeless robot who moves around the house like a machine stuck in a cycle of toil. I can't even call it stuck because she seems to be doing all this work willingly, having moved way past the point of resistance. It's easy to think that such women are a victim of a lack of higher education and that the system is built such that it does not promote their professional growth, and that this lifestyle is a bullet they have to bite for social acceptance and survival in general. But here's the catch: Divakar's mother had a PhD in economics. She was highly educated, and as her husband proudly proclaims, she prioritized her domestic duties above all. What do you do when well educated women accept and reinstate this fate? It is obvious her son too would grow up and have such ridiculous expectations from his wife. I believe Sanya Malhotra is one of the best natural actors right now, and she deserves a lot more lead roles. Maybe she's turning down these roles because we know the sort of fluff leading ladies in most big commercial Bolly movies do, and the roles that do challenge her as an artist are not your typical box office hits. I love watching her movies, and I really hope she does not get typecast. Sania's acting is organic and her micro expressions are so on point.
9 ग्लास नींबू पानी चाहिए बाहर, 2 स्वीट एंड सॉल्टेड, 3 स्वीट, 2 सॉल्टेड, 4 बिना आइस, एक में हरी मिर्ची.
The way she conveys disappointment, hope, expectation, rebellion, resistance is all so in sync with her character and therefore believable. She is a moderate tempered person, so when she expresses her disappointment to her husband about a lack of intimacy, there is no melodrama and there are no screechy complaints. When she finally runs out of patience, she shows that by throwing a bucket of dirty water at her husband and does not break plates or glasses or yell abuses. In fact, the only time you're like, okay, this is not Richa, this is Sanya Malhotra, is when she breaks into a dance. Because I don't know, maybe I've seen too much of her dance videos on Instagram. Nishant Dahiya plays Divakar and he maintains this wonderful balance of being entitled, charming, and completely oblivious to his wife's struggles.
इस घर में रहना है ना, तो उसके रूल्स फॉलो करने पड़ेंगे.
When he loses his temper, it is just enough to make you fear the worst for Richa, but he doesn't cross that line. Kawaljeet Singh plays Divakar's father. And you know what to expect from this man, he is perfection.
ये कुकर में पकाया आपने? फिर तो बेटा ये पुलाव हुआ, बिरयानी नहीं.
He harmonizes being condescending and dismissive and nice. And why does that remind me of at least five people? Divakar's mother is played by Aparna Ghoshal. And if you have ever wondered what a shell of a person who works mechanically and has zero margin of error yet no joy in her eyes looks like, she is it. Movies that do not rely on overacting and theatrics are the perfect place to find immense symbolism. Let's start with the most potent one here: food. An excess focus on food is often a representation of greed. In this movie, the men are greedy to retain their power and authority. The close up shots, the overhead shots, and the detailed script about food is such a beautiful distraction. The more beautiful the presentation, the worse the condition the women who are making the food are in. Second, in terms of importance, is the dripping pipe. Richa's marital life starts off on the right foot, it seems. The husband gives her attention, the father in law's disappointment is not very obvious, and she's just about getting the hang of her place in the kitchen. The leak goes unnoticed. Gradually, as the pressure rises and she begins to feel suffocated in that kitchen, the drip becomes more and more obvious and begins to intrude in her chores. Finally, when she's nearing the brink of a breakdown, the drip becomes a steady stream and it fills up this bucket. Next, we have the bindi. The good luck Didi wali bindi is affixed on her forehead throughout her stay at her in laws while she's dealing with their understated shenanigans. It's nowhere to be seen in the scene where she's done with the oppression, silently proving that the bindi, which was a symbol of her marital status, was anything but a good luck charm. Here's one more that stood out to me. In scenes where Divakar and Richa are interacting with each other and it's just the two of them, both the characters are seen standing. There is no dearth of actors who are under 6 feet, and hiring them would probably have brought more visual harmony when paired with an actress, Sanya Malhotra, who's not very tall herself. The difference in height is very difficult to ignore. The man towers next to her as a constant reminder of power and authority. He's always the bigger force, the louder one, the one who casts a shadow on the other. It's fitting that when she throws the bucket of water on him, he's still standing, tall and strong, like a symbol of a system that thrives on throwing its weight around. Then there are the smaller details, like the plastic on the back seat of the car when she was driving to her in laws. Like, she was not driving, she was there in the back seat. Clearly, dowry. It's a good thing that it's also her getaway car. There's a big debate that the film paints all men as villains, and I think this is nothing but rage baiting. While Divakar and his father are the obvious enforcers of patriarchy in the movie, and their entitlement is so in your face with the women constantly serving them while they chill and play squash, the women in the movie are also enablers. The mother in law sets an example for the daughter in law to never question the expectations of the family. The Bua is utterly disgusted to see Richa's dance videos and appalled by the thought of taking medicines on time because it would break her Karwa Chauth fast. Even Richa's own mother tells her to take the drudgery with a pinch of salt because this is the new life and she'll get used to it. On the other hand, we see Richa's friend's husband who helps out at home, and they even keep appliances like a dishwasher that can significantly reduce the workload. Not even Richa's mother in law was happy about the food processor. She herself preferred that seal batta. So please. Just today, I saw a reel where a man was pretending to be oh so careful about asking his wife about the whereabouts of his rumal, and he was being very anxious about inviting guests over for biryani without taking his wife's permission, etc., so that he does not come across as toxic. It was supposed to be funny and a sarcastic take on this movie, but what was funnier to me was that it took a movie to teach basic etiquette to men. Of course, you should take someone's permission if you're expecting them to cook for your guests. And why don't you know where your rumal is? The movie is layered and is made for an audience who is ready to talk about the vices that could make them question how things happen in their own homes, albeit in previous generations. If you haven't watched Mrs., it is streaming on Z5. Watch it.